Hello everyone. We're starting up a few minutes early. The screen that you see that comes up and it notifies you that we're live, that's to send out the notification that we're getting ready to get started. You won't usually hear any sound during that time. I'm usually getting everything situated on my desk and ready to go. And I see mad faces going across the screen in the comment section. I'm sorry if that upsets you. I have to get all my stuff situated. Hello, everybody. It's so great to see you. I'm so glad you're here this evening. I have my phone on, and I can see some of the comments coming across the screen. It's so great to see you this evening. I have my coffee, I have my water, and I have my mints, and so hopefully my voice will last throughout this evening. We have so much to share this evening. Tons and tons of pictures, a few topics, and a challenge. So if you can stay into the very end, that would be awesome, so you can catch the challenge. If you have to leave before we're done tonight, make sure you come back and watch the replay so you can participate in the challenge and see everybody's pictures and stuff. Yeah, I think we're going to be here for a good little while this evening. So, yeah, go ahead and get settled. We have 5 minutes before we begin. And again, one of the reasons why I turn on the screen and get myself going live is because when the connection is good, we're starting. And I'm hoping that everything is going good. My words are matching up with my mouth moving. I'm hoping all that's good. So, thank you, Janet. Yes, in case you missed it, I posted a new video since we're here a couple minutes early. I posted a new video. I have a Christmas gift for everyone. I'm wearing my shirt. You can't see the whole thing in this photo, but yes, make sure to check out that video because I share a couple of files with you and you can do so much with them. I showed how you can transfer on wood, but not only wood, you can transfer on glass and metal and plastic, rocks. You could transfer on all kinds of hard surfaces. So the video is just to inspire you. I gave you a fun little design that you can experiment with. You can make paper crafts. You can cut out SVGs and make your own t-shirt. We could be twinsies. You could make a t-shirt just like mine. What else could you do with it? You could print it out on fabric. I made a cute little wall hanging with it. So yes, if you haven't seen that video, make sure to check that out this week. It is on my YouTube channel, Lisa Capen Quilts. Hello, everybody. Terry forgot her pictures. Yes, send them next week. Everything looks good? All right. That's good. We have 3 minutes before we begin. First, I want to say thank you, Maureen, for moderating our group and all of your hard work. I appreciate you so much. And also, before we begin tonight, I just want to say that one of our members, Tracy, is at the hospital this evening. I saw your post. You're with your dad who's having surgery tomorrow. I just want to let you know that we are thinking about you. We are praying for his recovery. Lord has control. Let all the right doctors be in the right places. Let all the nurses be in the right places. We are praying for healing. And Tracy, we are thinking about you this evening. I know you probably won't be able to catch this tonight, but if you watch it on the replay, just know that we are all thinking about you and sending you a great big hug. And I hope you keep us updated on your dad, okay? So I wanted to make sure that we let Tracy know that we are thinking about her. Hello, everybody. Wow, are y'all ready to go this evening? We have 18 show and tells, and with those 18 show and tells, we have so many pictures to share tonight. Hello, hello, I see everybody coming in. And then we have 5 topics and a challenge. at the very end. Again, we're not doing like a project challenge until after Christmas. This is going to be a quick, fun, engaging, make people laugh kind of challenge for this week. It should only take you 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to show you how to do it. And so if you've never done this before, we're going to have instructions and pictures that show you what to do so you can play along. It's going to be fun. I have my coffee. It has been a long 2 days. So y'all don't mind me while I sip on my coffee. We have 1 minute before we really begin tonight. That's good. Okay. It is almost 8 o'clock. Just to let you know, if you see the little red or gray, I don't know what's up with the gray, why it's gray sometimes, but if you see the little notification that says we're live up in the corner, you're catching us live. Hello, feel free to chat amongst everybody and have conversation. If you don't see that and you're on Facebook, you're watching the replay, I still hope you comment and answer questions, engage, because we still have conversations even when the live is done. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm so glad you're watching along, and feel free to leave comments in the comment section down below. If you are on Facebook and want to join us over here on the Creative Crew group, this group is growing so fast. I cannot believe it. And it is so active. Everyone shares their projects on a daily basis. They post questions and they get lots of answers and feedback. And yes, it's a great place to share not only quilting stuff, but all genres of crafting. So if you're into photography, if you like cooking, baking, if you like organizing, pottery, crochet, knitting, and I could go on. If you like transferring images on wood, then you'd love the Creative Crew group. And we'd love to have you. And it is a very helpful group, and I feel like it's more like family. So if you're on Facebook and you'd like to join us over here, we'd love to have you. Primarily, I'm posting these videos on YouTube because I have some people over on YouTube who want to see the creations and the topics, but they don't do Facebook. So, hello, YouTube. Oh, that's good. I want to drink it before it gets cold. All right, it is 8:01. We're going to get started. If you're here, I see you're commenting, and just know that I'm not ignoring you. I'm really going to have to stay focused this evening to make sure that everything goes straight. Maybe if we get through this faster than I'm thinking we're going to, then we can chat at the end, and that would be awesome. Kind of thinking we're going to be here for a good minute. And yes, just know that I'm not ignoring you. And if you have questions, like when the live is over and I don't answer them, you can always tag me in your comment or your question, and that way I get notified. I just don't want to miss you if you're trying to tell me something. I always feel paranoid about that. All right, I'm going to start switching some screens over. We're going to start with the show and tell. Dun, dun, dun. We have so much to share. I gotta scroll all the way to the beginning. All right, tonight, y'all, we're gonna start with Diane. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started again with the comments. I wish I could read them and pay attention, but my brain is totally exhausted, and so I'm going to focus. Just know that I hope y'all are having conversation and commenting, and know that I love you. I'm not ignoring you. All right, we're starting tonight with Diane. And I'm going to pull her picture up at the same time as her comments. So Diane says, I haven't sewn this week, but I did put together an elf wreath. Now I do have a little sewing to finish before Christmas. Look how cute this little wreath is. That reminds me of all of the elf on the shelf posts that I see on Facebook. How adorable is that? Diane, did you sew your elf, or did you purchase your elf somewhere to make this wreath? I always admire people who can make bows. I'm not good at bows. My mom's really good at making bows, but I'm not. That is so adorable. Very festive. Maybe that'll give some people some ideas on what they could do to make a wreath. So thank you for sharing that. I think he's super adorable. Diane, I think you could sell those. If you were ever trying to think of things to make extra money, I'm pretty sure you could sell those. Thank you so much for sending that in. I always like to keep up with your progress. Now we're going to move to Mrs. Sherry, and she has a couple of photos to send with us to start with this evening. First, I'm going to show you this photo, and then she has a collage of photos of this same item. She said, I made this hang-about toiletry bag for my hubby. He sacrifices a lot of time without me while I'm busy sewing for other people. Yeah, that's so nice. So I thought I would show him how much I love and appreciate him by making the bag myself rather than buying one similar that he picked out online. The pattern is from Audrey Designs Patterns in Australia. I do have a link to share with you if you're interested, if you hold on one second. So this is the bag. Isn't that great? Let me switch to some water for a second. Isn't that great? Let me show you this other set of pictures. And she shared an Etsy listing. So here is her finished product and the Etsy listing. So if you're watching on YouTube, you could write this down if you're interested in the pattern for this bag. If you're on the Creative Crew group and you go to the announcements for today for this live and you scroll through and see Sherry's post, it actually has a clickable link that brings you to this pattern. So thank you, Sherry, for sharing that. I think he's gonna love it. You know, I've been watching a lot of bag videos in the last 2 weeks and I've never made one like this. I've made, you know, some simple quilted totes before, but I've been so intrigued by making bags, and to me it just looks so difficult. I guess maybe I've never done it before, but yours, honest to Pete, it looks like something you bought. So good job, Sherry. I think he's gonna love it. 2 weeks before Christmas, I'm pretty sure that I don't have time to learn how to do this to make Harlan one. But I think your hubby's gonna love it. Thank you so much for sharing this and for sharing the link for the pattern. If you're interested, check out that Etsy listing and share some love with the people over on Etsy. That would be awesome. Thank you so much, Sherry, for sharing that project with us. Make sure I have all of that stuff. Yes. Next, we're going to take a look at Faith's quilt, and she has 2 more other pictures to share with us this evening as well. This first picture, she says, a pattern I tried and it was surprisingly easy. Made another of a different color. Isn't this fantastic? I love, it looks like a scrappy quilt, all different fabrics and prints. So I'm really looking at the blocks, and if you dissect the individual blocks, I can see how you put it together. It does look a little bit complicated and intimidating at first, but when you really start to look at it, I see how the blocks are coming together. And so, yeah, I bet you could start putting these together pretty quick if you do have a pattern, Faith, that you went by. I would love it if you share it here on our group so that other people could use the pattern if they're interested in this quilt. If this is something that you came up with, I would love if you could write out some simple directions in case anyone wants to make this fabulous quilt. That is awesome. You have 2 other pictures we're going to take a look at too. These pictures are a quilt that she made for her husband. Everybody's making their husband stuff. I'm so sorry, Harlan. I haven't made you anything this year. Look at this great quilt, though. Isn't that awesome? I have a close-up picture I'm going to show in just a second of her quilting and the fabric. I think that is fabulous. Let's take a close-up look at your quilt. Yay! I love that fabric. I can see all of your quilting. This looks like it was a really fun quilt to put together too. I'm sure he loves it. Or is it a present? I wasn't sure if this is something you made and you're going to give it to him for Christmas or something that you've made before and he already has it. I wasn't sure. But yeah, I'm sure he loves it. I would like to know where you got your fabric from for this quilt. If you could share that with us as well, that would be great. Thank you so much, Faith, for sharing that with us. I love patriotic things. I'm assuming your husband is or was in the Marine Corps. Just thank him for our service. Thank him for his service. Can y'all tell I'm tired? I'm so tired. What's really dangerous about me being tired is that I usually get the giggles when I'm tired. And I'm really hoping that that does not happen this evening. We're in trouble if it does. Okay, next we're going to move on to Anya's pictures, and she has an update. Y'all remember, let's see, I don't know if it was last week or if it was the week before, Anya submitted a question on the fur coat with the monogram on the inside, and she was asking for suggestions on how to add the monogram to her pillow. She's done, and she has pictures to share with us. So she said, completed and dropped off my first commission. I am so happy for you, Anya. I'm not sure if you're here. I haven't been paying close attention to who's coming in. Anya, I'm so happy for you and your first commission. I would do a happy dance, but everyone would start leaving. I am just excited for you. Was able to make extra pillows from the sleeves for her 2 brothers. She loved it so much that she asked me to make one more pillow in the shape as the sleeves one. Okay, so the longer one, she wants one more of those. That is so fantastic. I have a couple of close-up pictures to share. Y'all check out what she did with the monogram. I would have never thought of that. What a great idea. Anya, I'm just so like tickled for you. I have one more picture that's even more close up than that. Look what a good job she did. Anya, I'm sending you high fives. That is fantastic. Honestly, y'all are so talented. What a great job. I know she was happy with this. This has to be a great confidence booster for your first commission, for it to go so well. Yeah, I think you have great big things in your future, Miss Anya, and we are here to root you on. So keep us updated. What's your next project going to be? We'll be excited to follow along. Thank you so much for sending that in. Now we're going to move to Miss Rhonda, and she has a little bit of a lengthy post. So first we're going to bring this up, and then we'll share her pictures. She has 3 pictures to share with us this evening. And so let's read what she has to say first. And it might be a little bit small on your screen, so I'm going to read it out loud. And then we'll take a look at her 3 photos. So Miss Rhonda says, my first t-shirt quilts. Yay! Oh, that makes me so happy. They are memory quilts of my nephew Tyler. And that's a sad occasion. He passed away from complications of aplastic anemia at the age of 22. Wow, that is so young. In 2012. His favorite color is green. So that is why I did the border in green. I love how you can customize and personalize the quilts. If you look around the quilt, you will find a yellow smiley face on each quilt. We would call him Tyler the Smiler. I used the Elmer's glue method to glue the squares together. That was the first time of using the glue. I really liked it. I used it on the back of a medium gray soft and minky. Sorry. I have all these little boxes that y'all can't see, but it's blocking the words. I used on the back a medium gray soft and minky fleece. That really made the quilt warm and soft. I love using minky. I hand stitched the binding on. The lap quilt measures 54 by 69. The shadow box quilt measures 64 by 83, and the illusion quilt measures 70 by 90. Thank you, Lisa, for all the helpful hints. You are so welcome, Rhonda. You are so, so welcome. Let's take a look at your 3 quilts. These are good size quilts. So this is her first one, and you can see the little smiley face on there and the green border. I think there is nothing like a quilt made with someone's clothing. It's so personal. It's so sentimental. There's just nothing like it. I'm so glad you tried out the glue too. I saw someone post on a post in our group today that said that they were still really scared about using the glue, but I would encourage you, if you haven't tried glue basting, especially with t-shirt quilts, it's a game changer. It really is. And it all washes out if you use the school glue. And it just makes your life so much easier trying to make these quilts. So I would encourage you, look how perfect this quilt is. And she used the glue. Let's take a look at her second quilt. This is quilt number 2. Look how she did this so that it looks three-dimensional, like the t-shirts really raise up off of the quilt. I see the smiley face on this quilt and the green border. I love your quilt. I think they are phenomenal. And I'm sorry, I was just looking at all the logos because that's what I like to do. I just find them so fascinating. Let's take a look at your third quilt. Again, I see the little yellow smiley face. I think this, I am just so happy for, I'm so proud of you. Now, I'm pretty sure that you said these were your first t-shirt quilts. I would have never guessed that. I would have never known that. I know you have to feel accomplished getting 3 of these quilts done. I am just very pleased for you. Thank you so much for sharing this. I have a feeling that the family is going to treasure these quilts forever, and they will be heirloom pieces, and you have a hand in that. So I'm sure your family thanks you too for your talents and your time. What an awesome job, Miss Rhonda. Thank you so much for sending those in. And next we're going to move to Barbara, and she has a longer post too, so we're going to have to bring that up on the bigger side of the screen. But there's so much in there that it's small, so I'll quickly read through that too. And then she has a few pictures we're going to take a look at as well. Let me get my water first. Okay. All right. Miss Barbara says, I've had a sick and a busy week. Oh, this sounds like last week for me. Feeling a lot better though. Yay. Finally finished the Superman throw for my son, previously posted in September. Rob loved it. I added pieces of his late dad's shirts. It finished at 55 by 85, and I had planned to use luminary thread, but it needed a size 14 needle. I'm assuming maybe you didn't have that size needle. Blocks are log cabin and panels. During the free motion on my long arm, the luminary thread caused me a lot of grief. Thread breakage, no matter what I did, it didn't stop. So I used regular sky blue glide for the top and black glide for the backing. And the backing was so different. Used my serger to add binding and clean the edges and reduce the bulk, and flipped binding and machine stitched. As I did the dragway fabric, since that part of our life and had so many street rods as our business of a builder. The backing gave the more of a memory to Rob, since he followed his dad's footprints, planes, cars, and motorcycle, as well as trains. So again, I'm on this mission to make all these bowl cozies, and changed in the middle of my project to only use 1 piece of 100% batting. 2 pieces made them so hard to turn and thick. Used my featherweight, a 1937-41, to sew these. Threaded as neutral and black cotton thread. Okay, so we have a picture of her featherweight that she shared with us, her machine that she used to sew the bowl cozies. I have an update picture of her bowl cozy project. Y'all remember a couple weeks ago she had all of these pieces out on the table. She shared what she was in the middle of, and I have a couple pictures of her quilt that she just finished. So we're going to go ahead and move over and take a look at her pictures. This is her Superman throw. I think you shared this on our group page because I've seen this. This reminds me of one of my very first commissions as a t-shirt quilt maker. I did a collage style Superman t-shirt quilt for someone whose husband was getting ready to have surgery and he was going to be in the hospital for a few days, and so she asked him if she could have his shirts all Superman and make a quilt so he could have that to snuggle with. This quilt, every time I see it, reminds me of that quilt. I think that's fabulous. Let's take a look at the back fabric. Isn't that great with the street rods? Did you say where you got that fabric from? If you did, I think I missed it. I think that's a lot of fun. Here is a picture of her doing the binding with her serger. So who was it? Was it Chantel who said she was getting a serger? Here's another use for sergers. I've never used one, but this is intriguing and makes me want to learn how. So it reduces the bulk with your binding. That is so interesting. Now I have some eye candy for you. Here is her featherweight, which might be hard to see because the background on my screen is black, and so is her machine. So you might have to struggle really hard, but you can see her featherweight. Where did you get your machine, Miss Barbara? I would love to know. I have always keep my eyes open for them, and I haven't run across one yet. I bet it's a lot of fun to use. And then this is the update picture on her bowl cozies. So I'm assuming, yeah, you were using 2 pieces of batting in the middle and you've switched to 1. I imagine that that does make it a little bit easier to turn them right side out. That is the worst part of any project for me. I have the hardest time doing that. That fabric looks a lot of fun. Is that green beans? That looks like green beans and radishes from what I can see. I would love a close-up picture of these fabrics if you get a chance. So yeah, you've been super busy. All of y'all are so busy. I wonder what we're all going to do in January. Just take a month off. Make something for ourselves. You could make the transfer on wood box from my video today. You could make yourself a t-shirt in January and we could be twinsies. Yeah, what are you gonna do after Christmas when all of these projects are done? Thank you so much for sharing those pictures, Barbara, and your updates. I always love getting the updates. All right, and another long post from Kelly. So I have it up on the larger part of the screen. We're going to read through it quickly, and then she has 7 photos to share. And yes, prepare yourself for cuteness again. So Kelly says, I have made Christmas sacks and applique names on towels. The sacks are for my nieces and nephews. 3 were born this year, and the other 2 were born 2.5 years ago. But been a hard couple of years. I haven't got around to them until now. I made a sack and do a towel for every niece or nephew. The names in the towels are appliqued. I came up with this idea 5 years ago when my first niece was born. I wanted to personalize a towel for her, but I didn't have an embroidery machine. 5 years on, and I'm still doing the towels the same way. The sack measurements are different. It all depends on how long the names are, but the squares measure 5 inches finished. I am currently working on memory quilts out of mom's clothing from my family. That's why it's been a hard 2 years. Mom getting diagnosed with terminal cancer 2 years ago and passing away in March of 2018. I'm so sorry to hear that. But I will show them in another live as they are in bits and pieces at the moment. I have 8 quilts to finish and 6 memory bears to finish by the end of June when we fly back to NSW to see my family. First, I'm really sorry to hear about your mom. I imagine that the last 2 years have been difficult. When you start putting your quilts together, we would love to be updated, and if you share that process with us, we would love to follow in the progress of that, Kelly. Let's take a look at her projects. So these are her towels, and then we will see her, let's see, her little sacks that she made too. I love doing applique. I think it's the perfect way to add names, especially if you don't have an embroidery machine. Before I got my embroidery machine, this is what I did. And this is what I still do a lot of the time because it's just so adorably cute, right? They all will have their own little towel customized that their auntie made. I love that. Here are 2 more. I think that's such a great idea, Kelly. Yeah, you get to use all the different kinds of fabric for the letters. Now we're going to move into the sacks. Aren't these adorable? My nephew's name is Lucas. I think this is fantastic. Now, it was so busy today for me that I saw your post and I saw all of your pictures and downloaded them. I did see you were having some conversation about the sacks and I missed that part. So I'm not quite sure if you mentioned if it was about the fabrics or what you use the sacks for. But yeah, I think they're adorable. Aren't they great? Here's the second one. Yeah, I can see if you're trying to fit in all of the letters of this name that the size of the sack might have to be a little bit bigger. So on this one, did you piece together the blocks that you used, or was that fabric that looks pieced? I think that's fantastic. We have another one for James. I think this is such a great idea. You could sell these too. If you had a bunch of 5.5-inch squares already pre-cut and you got relatively quick at doing the applique for the names, I think you could do these on commission. People love customized items like that. Here's one for Scarlett. These are so fantastic. That looks like Christmas fabric, so I'm imagining they're Christmas sacks, kind of like a stocking. Oh, that's such a great idea. That makes me want to get busy for next year and make my kids and my nieces and nephew some sacks. I've been making stockings and Yeah, I'm kind of over making Christmas projects already. But for next year, I'm writing this idea down. And a sack for Selena. Hopefully I said that right. I think these are fantastic. Thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing these projects with us. And I hope you do keep us updated on the quilt um, that you're working on. And I would love to follow along in the progress of that. And you have a whole group of people here that if you did have questions, we would love to help. These are fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next, we have an update from Evelyn. And we've been following along in Evelyn's progress from the design phase on these Crown Royal quilts. So take a look at this. Since I finished up my Crown Royal quilts, these were actually fun to make once I figured out the design my customer wanted. Yes, this is fantastic. And you know what, Evelyn? I've seen a ton of Crown Royal quilts. I've never seen one with the Crown Royal bag in the shape of a shot glass. So yes, that's fantastic. I have a couple of other photos of her other Crown Royal quilts. Look at this one. She must have had some different colored bags that she was able to use in this one. I did not know that the Crown Royal bags came in orange and a brownish color like that. I've seen the green ones. I've seen blue ones. And the black one. I've seen the black one. That is so fascinating. I'm sure she loves these quilts. And then it looks like you've made some pillows as well. So yes, I know one thing for sure, Evelyn, is that moss does not grow underneath your feet. You are always busy, always working on a project. And let me just tell you, I think you went through these quilts super duper fast with superb results. It looks very professional. So great job on that. Yeah, I think they're going to love it. What are you working on now? Or do you just want to take a break? Can you take a break 2 weeks before Christmas? I'm so glad you sent in the finished pictures of your quilt. We've been following that since the very get-go. Now I have, let's see, 11 photos from Susan. So let's pull up this first one as we read her comment for this evening. First, she says, I hope it's not too late to post pics for the show. Sorry, I copied and pasted that. Nope, you caught me right before we cut that off. The two denim and red plaid bears are for a client from her dad's shirts. The other photos we're going to see in just a second. The two black and white bears are made from my best friend's clothing for her mom and grandson. There's one picture of her mom holding one of the bears. The black Vietnam veteran is also for a client. It is a lap blanket made from her dad's jackets. Okay, you know what? I can leave your comment up. We'll go ahead and rotate through these photos so we can read this at the same time. I think that would make more sense. So these are your two red and plaid bears for your client. Isn't this so cute? I want to learn how to make these. My friend Roseanne asked me to make some bears quite some time ago, and I was really intimidated. I would have learned to do it, but we've decided on a different project for her. But yes, I think they're adorable. Here's another view of this bear. I like how you use the plaid at the bottom of his little feetsies. Look, he even has a pocket on his tushy. That's so great. I love how creative minds work like that. I love using the pockets. And one more view of the bear. I love using denim in projects too. Okay, this is your veteran quilt. Let's see, let's go back. This is for a client. It is a lap blanket made from her dad's jackets. Wow, that is so nice. That is superb. I think I have one more photo of this. Yes. He included the pockets of the jackets. Susan, you're a girl after my own heart. The last quilt that I did, I included all kinds of pockets in that quilt. They're one of my favorite features of a quilt. And the clients love it. They're always amazed that you can actually use the pockets. They love it too. I'm sure your client's going to love that. Next, we'll bring up a picture of the black and white bear, and this is her mom holding one of the bears. Aww. Look, see, they bring so much joy to families. I love that picture. So now we can take a closer look at these bears, the black and white bears. I can see that you did some embroidery on the little footsies. I think we do have a close-up picture of that coming up. Here's a different view of the bear. Who all likes using denim in their projects? Yes, here's a close-up picture of the embroidery that you did on the foot area. Isn't that so cute? Oh, and the stitches in the denim. I love that. Look, I can see your little tag on the side of the bear. That's so professional. Susan, I'm so proud of you. That is so awesome. I think that's our 11th picture. Yes. Thank you so much for sending these in. I love looking at your bears and your quilts. I love that you put the pockets on the quilt and on the bear's tushy. And I'm glad you got your pictures in on time so that we could look at them tonight. All right, so now we're going to move to Miss Janet, and this is a longer post, so it's going to be on the side of the screen for just a second, and then I have a photo from Janet that we could look at. And Janet, I'm not sure if you're here because I have not been able to keep up with the comments, but if you're here and your husband's here, maybe he's in the other room, call him in. We're going to show his quilt, okay? So, first, Janet says, if I could ask for your indulgence. Last week, my husband watched almost the entire live chat, waiting to see our girls' aprons that I made. After watching everyone else's projects, this was the conversation. This is from her husband. Did you share my purple heart quilt? And she says no. Her husband says, why not? So he watched the whole live. I'm so glad you were here with us. We're going to see your quilt here in just a second. So since he was so loving as to watch the live chat with me, here is his purple heart quilt. It is a Janetta pillow pattern. I butcher the names. I know that I said that wrong. My quilt before it was quilted is draped over a cannon in one of our local parks. My husband is a Purple Heart recipient. He was standing on a landmine during the Vietnam War in 1968 when the soldier behind him triggered it. God was so good to have it only crush his ankle, which they were able to reconstruct and avoid amputation. So thankful and so honored to be married to him. We are very thankful that he is still here too. And one thing for sure is that when I'm tired, I either get really silly or really emotional. So thank you so much for your service. Let's take a look at your quilt. Ah, you guys making me up. Not upset. I'm just proud. I'm proud of you. And I'm thankful for your husband's service. And I love your quilt. I think it is phenomenal. You know, I think we're all given gifts. You know, some of us are born to inspire others by teaching or giving, motivational talks. Some of us are gifted to build houses. Some of us are gifted to create. I think you were given a gift to make beautiful quilts, and it's definitely an honor to share this with everyone. And if he's watching, thank you so much for your service, kind sir. And I think that's such a pity he watched all last week and he didn't see your aprons. Husbands are so supportive, aren't they? The things that they will do because we love it. Thank you so much, Janet, for sending that in. It was an honor to see that quilt. We have another project from Janet as well. So this is from Janet as well, and she says, my challenge to organize came a smidgen late. So a couple weeks ago, we did an Organize Your Space challenge. Our Christmas present to ourselves was a new, huge, big screen TV. That's exciting. Now what to do with the huge oak entertainment center? After moving a whole lot of stuff in my sewing room, this is where it resides. Perfect. Look at the glass doors you could display quilts in. Now to do the organization portion of this project. Wow, you have shelves You have doors that you can close to hide some stuff, and you have drawers and a glass display case all in one with this cabinet. I think it's a fabulous idea. I would have kept it too. All the storage possibilities with this cabinet. So not only did you get a new screen, a new TV, you got new organization for your sewing space. That's exciting. That I think was worth waiting for, right? Thank you so much, Janet, for sharing that. Maybe that'll give some other people some ideas too on how to repurpose furniture pieces that they might be trading. Oh, I need to plug my phone in. Hold on one second. New furniture pieces that they might have thought about getting rid of or replacing, then they could repurpose it for craft storage, right? There we go. I thought I did that before we started the live. Thank you so much, Janet, for sending your update on your organization challenge. I always say it's better late than never, right? All right, I have to compose myself. I'm such a crybaby. Okay, we're gonna move on to Darlene. And Darlene has 3 photos. Look at this quilt up on the page. Here is the second of 3 quilts. This is for my granddaughter. She has 1 left to do. Merry Christmas to all. So this is her second quilt. This looks a lot like the one we saw, I think, last week, right, Darlene? Last week, you had fabric right down in the corner that was sort of purplish. This one has lots of yellow and like teal green. That is so pretty. Let's take a look at your second photo. This is her quilt label. Handmade with Love for Jordan by Grammy. Christmas 2019. That is so nice. Look at your perfect binding. Look at your perfect quilting. This quilt looks like something you would see like in a magazine. I'm so glad you are in our group and shared this with us. Let's see, I think you have one more photo. Yes. A close-up of your quilting and binding. Your binding skills are on point. Fabulous. Gonna love it. What a great quilt that she'll have forever. Be able to pass on to her family. All right, you have one more. Are you trying to finish that up before Christmas? Maybe next week we'll see your third quilt. No pressure, Darlene. All right, Miss Chantel has something to share with us. All right, she says, hello, everyone. As a result of cutting most of the afternoon, I am full of fuzzies. Yeah. Y'all, sometimes I am working, and I'll remember I need to go into the grocery store for something. And so I'll just stop working and get in my car and go up to the Food Lion, and I will look down and there will just be threads all over my shirt. I don't even care anymore. I have finished the cutting process for one of the rag quilts. I am at the sandwich making time with the quilt as you go method. So here's a picture of my busy quilting table, 2 piles of pattern material and 1 pile of material which I will be using as batting, Hopefully I will get more done before our show and tell tonight. So how's that going, Chantel? How far did you get? You can let us know if you're here. This is her busy cutting table. I see Winnie the Pooh fabrics. I can't wait to start to see pictures of this as it progresses along. So I'm hoping that you keep us updated on this quilt situation you've got going on here. It looks like so much fun. Looks like you're so organized. You have everything cut, so you're ready to start moving right along. Quilt as you go. If you have any tips for those others who would like to know how to quilt as you go, maybe you can share some learning tips as you're going along. I see you're here. You said you're making sandwiches. Okay. So you're making progress. That's good. All right, keep us updated on this. We'll be looking for your updates. Are you trying to get this done before Christmas? Or is it just a quilt that you're just working on? All right, now this part's going to maybe be confusing because I have two Debbies back to back. No, back to back to back, but only two Debbies. You'll see here in just a second. All right, Chantel, keep us updated on your quilt progress, girlfriend. You can do it. So our first Debbie says, I just got my order from Madam So. All right, now when I saw this post, Debbie, and I'm not sure if you're here or if you'll be watching this on the replay, I know that you are super busy in your life and your classes, but if you're here or watching the replay, tell us more about this Madam So. I see you got heat erasable fabric marking pins. I see you got some bobbins. I need to order some bobbins. I am so sick and tired of only having 5 bobbins for my Juki machine. It's so frustrating. And I'm trying to make out what the other 2 items are. The one with the yellow handle almost looks like a blade sharpener, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's a little thing that you wear to put your pens in. I can't quite tell. So let us know more about the 2 smaller items. Also, let us know what you think about the heat erasing marking pens. I just ordered some different ones. Usually I use the Dritz heat marking pens and I've used them up. They're empty. So I ordered some on Amazon and it's like $10 for 6 pens, but they also came with refills. 2 refills for every color, so it was like 18 pens for 10 bucks. My mind's still not made up if I like them or not. So yeah, let us know the brand of pens that you got and do you like them? Have you used them before? Madam So, is that a website that we can go to? That's exciting. I love getting packages in the mail. I have some stuff. I think it's supposed to be here Thursday for my happy planner. So yeah, I have news about a happy planner. If we have time to chat at the end, we could talk about that if you want. So that was exciting, Debbie. Now we have a different Debbie. Look at this. That angel looks familiar, except I love your background. Your background is so fabulous. All right, so Debbie Clark says, these are still works in progress, but here it is, my take on the angel applique. My friend has a shop called Angelic Expressions and has been wanting an angel of some kind. So this is what I'm making her for Christmas. The Yorkie applique will become a pillow for another friend. So little time, so much to do yet. I I'm right there, Debbie. I know exactly what you're saying. I think everybody gets exactly what you're saying. But look at this. That looks like stained glass. Oh, I love it. The yellow just glows, doesn't it? The fabric just glows. I love it. I think she's gonna love it. That is fabulous. I love it. Okay. I love it when someone follows my patterns exactly the way I did, but I also love it when other people vary it a little bit because as a creative person, I think you should, have the freedom to just express yourself. And yeah, that is fabulous. I love it so much. Keep us updated. I hope you send us pictures on our group page when you're done with these projects so we can see what it looks like when you're finished. That was nice to see that. I'm glad you sent that in. And now we're going back to the other Debbie for one more post. And I know it's confusing going back and forth. I load up everything in the order that they're posted on our announcement. And so, yeah, that's just how they came in. But we're coming back to Debbie. And this is her crochet project. We saw the beginning of this. I think that this was it last week. She said an updated picture of a current project. I'm hoping to have it done to deliver at church tomorrow night. How much more do you have left to do, Debbie? I know you work, you have your own business, you have classes, you have a little one, and you have a crochet project to finish before tomorrow night. So I think I saw that you were taking exams or classes too, right? Y'all are always, always, always on the go. We have some tough, determined people in our group. That's all I have to say. I admire all of you. You are always busy. Debbie, I hope you keep us updated on this crochet project. I don't know how many more rows you have left to do before tomorrow night, but we're going to be praying that you get it finished in time and without any stress. I hope you enjoy it as you finish this up. Let me make sure. Yep, I think I had confused myself when I was taking notes with the two Debbies. I hope I didn't leave any of y'all stuff out. I might have just confused myself. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to move to Sewing Kathy. Miss Kathy, look at your coat. I want to call it the coat of many colors, but it's mostly purple. Look at you modeling your coat. Okay, so she says, good evening, Lisa. I made this jacket last year, but living in Florida, I haven't worn it. The other day it was so cold, so I put it on. It was made from a pattern I found in an old magazine. It's like a crazy 9-patch quilt. Yes, it is. I used a charm square pack of fabric and it is sewn onto a sweatshirt. That's brilliant. That is so smart. I am looking forward to joining tonight. Miss Kathy, I apologize because I'm having a hard time keeping up with the comments at the same time. So if you're here, I'm so glad you're here. I love your coat of many shades of purple. I want to make one. Sorry, I have the chapped lips. Isn't that fantastic, y'all? I want to make one. Actually, I would love to make a long, sort of flowy skirt. Sort of like the one like you would have worn back in the 70s, you know? But it looks like your coat. Purple and crazy 9-patch. Yes, that would be fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Look, you look just so friendly and you so proud of your coat. I'm so proud for you. I'm so glad you sent in that picture. And then for our last show and tell this evening, we have Miss Yvette. And she stays busy too, y'all. I'm not sure if Yvette is here this evening. Oh, yes, she is. I see her. Okay. So 2 of many I'm working on. I hope to get them all done in time. This is a lunch bag or purse for my Princess Julia and my Prince Bradley, who loves dinosaurs. I have a pillow coming up in just a second to show you. Well, let me read through. Okay, first we'll look at her bags, and then I'll pull up the pillow. So look, she's got a tag with Julia's name on it. Y'all are making these bags here lately. It makes me really, really want to make some. Here's another picture of Julia's bag. Looks like it has a drawstring. That is so genius. With the little beads on the end. Yvette, this looks like you could sell these. Oh, Kathy is here tonight. I'm so glad you're here. Yep, Miss Yvette, if you wanted to go into a market, you could sell these little bags, you know. All right, here's the dinosaur pictures we're going into. This is a huge pillow. I have another dinosaur to do. And then doggies, cats, turtles. She's got a lot of projects still left to do. I'm having so much fun making these for my babies. I bet you are. I bet you're just having like the funnest time. Lisa, that huge box of fiber fill we both bought at Joann's sure is coming in handy. Y'all, I had such a laugh at that box of stuff. Feel free to share these for tonight's live video. I'm going to try to make it. Been very busy. Here's her dinosaur pillow. Yes, that box of polyfill. Okay, so not to get off topic, and you can look at this dinosaur picture, and I'll go through the other pictures while I talk. But I had 6 memory pillows to make the other day. And I wanted to use the pillow forms, but I used the wrong zippers and they were too small to use pillow forms. Look at little Bradley's little tag on his on the tail of this dinosaur. So I had to buy polyfill, and I haven't bought that stuff in years because pillows aren't something I make a lot, and usually I buy pillow forms. So I was trying to figure out how much polyfill to buy, and they had bags of it. Look at this picture. And the bags just didn't look like they were going to be enough. Like I'd have to buy a couple of bags to fill my 6 pillows, and I saw this box and it was on sale. And the box tells you on the side how many pillows it'll make, and I was still skeptical. And so yeah, I brought it home and I had it in the family room, and I opened it up and it just like instantly doubled in size. I was so amazed. So I'm assuming, Miss Yvette, that you have the same box. Were you surprised that it did that? I'm looking to see, did you make up this dinosaur pattern? Or do you have a pattern location that you could share for this dinosaur? Because who doesn't want to make some of these? I think he's so cute. And you use dinosaur fabric. Here's one more picture of the dinosaur from the side. And you can kind of see in this picture exactly how tall he is. He's a big dinosaur. Yes, you have stayed busy. All of you have stayed so busy. Connie, we're doing the lives on Tuesday evening. We've been doing Tuesday for a few weeks now. One Monday evening, I had a quilt appointment, and so I had to switch it to Tuesday. And then I got so much feedback that Tuesday was actually better for a majority of everybody, so we switched to Tuesdays on the Creative Crew group. I am going live on the Lisa Capen Quilts page too, but that's just random. It's not scheduled. And so, yeah, this one is scheduled for Tuesday evenings. I'm so glad you're here. And yeah, if you're just joining, we've had so many pictures. So when we're done, when you get a chance, if not tonight, sometime this week, go back and check out everyone's progress. We've had some great bags and quilts and t-shirt quilts, patchwork quilts, memorial quilts, crochet projects. Wow, there was so much stuff that we shared tonight. Memory bears. All right, let's move over to the topics and tips. We have 5 different ones we're going to share tonight. Let me get a sip of water before we start. So our first topic for this evening is from Sally. I was confusing myself for a second. Okay. So let's move over to this screen. And this is up on the side of the screen because I wanted you to be able to read her questions. If you have suggestions for Sally, I would love it if you share some tips or some resources with her. I have a couple of ideas, but certainly I don't do crocheted stuff a lot. I have made some stuff in the past, some ornaments, and so I'll share the things that I used. But if you have some really great suggestions, I would love it if you share them with Miss Sally. So she says, I have a 2-part question. I have several crocheted Christmas ornaments from my grandmother, and they are discoloring. What and how do you clean them? So the first question, I did not quite know how to answer. So if anybody has some suggestions on how to clean these, I'm sure they're probably delicate crocheted items, I would love it if you shared that with Sally. Part 2 is I also have a 3D heart from her that needs to be restarched. Can somebody give the best starch to use? I will not be on the live tonight because our daughter has her last high school Christmas concert this evening, but I will definitely watch the posted version as soon as I get home. Okay, so we know that she's at the school watching the Christmas concert. And so yes, if you have suggestions for Sally, she will be joining when she gets home or when she can this week. And I'm sure she would love your suggestions. So number 1, what can she clean her ornaments with? I'm thinking something delicate like wool. Is that woolite? Isn't there something that you can use for delicates? Not quite sure. So I went to Google because that's what I do. And I came across this. According to the editors at Vintage Indie, a little white vinegar goes a long way towards removing stubborn stains on old linens. Submerge your crocheted tablecloth in a solution comprising of 2 gallons of water, to 1 cup of vinegar and allow it to soak for several hours, sloshing it around occasionally. Now, I have not tried this method. All I did was Google how to clean vintage crocheted items, and this is what popped up first. So, what do you think about this? Has anybody checked out or used vinegar and water to clean their crocheted items? Connie says missing my live is like missing Survivor. I love Survivor. Me and you, like right here. Chantel says wash with cold water and Dawn liquid soap. Chantel says yes, woolite. Jan sets an alarm for our lives. Yay! Oh, I'll get caught up in all the comments. I'm trying to focus. Okay, focus, Lisa. So, you know what, Sally, what I would do is I would research it. I would Google it. I see you have some suggestions coming in, so make sure to check all of the comments because you have some great suggestions coming in. I'm not sure about the vinegar and water. I know the white vinegar is useful for all kinds of stuff, and so maybe this is something to try. But I Googled it, and this was the first thing that came up, but I did see some YouTube videos that popped up there as well. So, you know, maybe taking a little bit of time and just reading through all of that and all of the suggestions. Good night, Miss Roseanne. I love you. I'm starting your mug rugs. Love you. Bye. Happy birthday yesterday. So yeah, check out the comment section. I see lots of comments coming through. Then as far as your starch ideas, this is what I did. And I also Googled this, and I saw lots of people also using this as starch. So I made some crocheted snowflakes a couple years ago, and I did it 2 ways to starch them so that they kept the shape. Some of them I mixed Elmer's glue, which was just the school glue, 50-50 with water, and that made them a nice, you know, sturdiness, but I really wanted them a lot stiffer. So for some of them, I used straight glue right out of the bottle, and it was perfect. And I just decorated my Christmas tree. Let's see, I made these ornaments like 3 years ago, and they're still perfect. So I don't know if anybody else uses glue. Good night, Roseanne. As a starch for their crocheted stuff. But yeah, I saw this on a thread too, so it just kind of made me feel better about using the glue on my stuff. So you can Google that as well. I'm not sure if you have any starching answers coming in on the thread yet or not, but yes, consider the glue and the water. I also read that using cornstarch and sugar is a good starching agent to make your ornaments back to shape. So I think there's a lot of different ways that you could go. You might give this a shot. And then you'll have to update us, Sally. Let us know what you decide. Send us before and after pictures of your ornaments before you clean them and after you clean them. Let us know what you decide to use. Send us before and after pictures of your ornaments before you restarch them. Let us know what you decide to use on that too. Make sure to check out the comment section because I saw lots of stuff coming through for you. Miss Regina has a tip to share with us this evening. Oh no, she has a question. I was getting ahead of myself. Okay, so Regina posted, can you show some tips on binding a t-shirt quilt? I think during the live it would be really hard to bring a quilt in and show you tips on binding. Maybe if I was situated over at my table, I could show you in person, like a tutorial like I did yesterday on my Lisa Capen Quilts page with the quilt label. But because we're over here on the computer, that would be a little bit hard to do. So what I've done is I've screenshotted 2 of my videos that you can find on YouTube. If you haven't watched these already, I think you're going to find them really helpful. Okay, the first one you see on the screen is quilt binding with glue. It's from the T-shirt Quilt Along series that I did quite some time ago, and it's video number 5 in that series. You'll see the screen, and if you forget what it looks like, you can pull up the live, fast forward till you see this part and you know what to look for. Okay, that video I show you how you can use school glue to do your binding, and it helps you get perfect binding. It is so helpful. I also show you how I cut my binding and how I piece together my binding, which is not the correct way to do it, but it's the way I do it, and my binding's beautiful. So yes, I show lots of tips on binding a t-shirt quilt in this video. And then there's one more video I wanted to share with you. And this is a more recent one. I did not use glue in this tutorial. And let's see, T-shirt Quilt Along Vlog episode 10, trimming and binding and quilting rules. And I think I talk about some of the rules that I break when I make my quilts in this video. So yes, this is what the video looks like on my channel. Both videos are in a series. And so there are playlists for these videos, and you can watch the whole quilt being made from start to finish. And these are the parts where I do the binding. And again, I think in both videos, I cut my binding strips, I piece together my binding, I iron the binding, and put it on the quilt. And so they're loaded with tips. And of course, if you're working on a binding, you can always take a picture of what you're doing and share it on our page, because everybody is so helpful. And if I don't jump on your question, we have lots of other people who will quickly help you out when you need it. So yes, go check out these 2 videos, Regina. I think you'll find them helpful. And then you can just sit and take notes and watch them at your own pace too, which is really great. You can pause it, like you can sew along with me. You can make your binding with me. Pause it, hit play, pause it. One of the things I love about YouTube. But yes, I think that will be really helpful for you. One of the tips that I would suggest, if you've never used glue, school glue, to do your binding, and you haven't done binding on quilts very much, or you're just starting out, I think it's going to be so helpful if you give it a try. That's my #1 tip. If I could share anything with you, that was a game changer in my binding. Game changer. Okay. Next we have Miss Terry, who has a scan and cut. So she says, do you have any cleaning tips for the Brother Scan and Cut standard tack mat? I feel your pain. My mat is new and I've used it only 3 times to cut fabric with Heat and Bond Light on the back. I feel your pain, Terry. After each time I used it, more of the Heat and Bond adhesive has stuck to the mat. Today was the worst. See the picture. I only use unscented alcohol-free baby wipes to clean the mat. This is going to happen. And I think that's one of the You know, I don't have many bad things to say about the Brothers Scan and Cut. That machine saves me so much time and it does so many projects. If I had one qualm about the machine, is the mats. So first let's talk about the mats. I have two mats. When I bought my machine, it came with a mat. My mat got like this. The heat and bond stuck to it because it was a brand new mat. And the more I used it, the less the heat and bond light stuck to the new mat. So as you use your mat over and over again, the heat and bond light will stop sticking to it. However, it will also stop sticking to your mat. And so here's a tip for you, Terry, is I tape down my fabric. I use painter's tape, I use washi tape, I use masking tape. Today, in the video that I just posted on YouTube, I cut some heat transfer vinyl on a mat, and you can't see it, but I used clear Scotch tape to hold down the heat transfer vinyl. It worked perfectly. It held down the vinyl. The tape lifted right off. And so, yes, use tape when your mat starts to get non-sticky. But here's what you do. You suffer through the tackiness, or you get yourself the low tack mat for the fabric. To me, I've always just used the regular standard mat, okay? Eventually, you'll get to a point where you want a new mat, and you save this one and write on it with a Sharpie or fabric, and then your new mat that you get down the road will be for your paper stuff. So you'll have two mats. Your fabric mat will be hardly sticky at all, and there's ways that you can re-stick it. There's tons of videos out there. I've used Aline's Tack It over and over with a foam brush. Add some tackiness back to your mat. But to clean my mat, I also used the wipes. I have washed my mat in the sink with some Dawn, and that gets most of the bits off. And I have a video I want to share with you. I don't know if you've seen this or not. But yeah, now I have two mats. One is not sticky hardly at all, unless I put the Aline's Tack It on it. That's for my fabric. And then my newer mat is for my paper and vinyl stuff. Now I want you to go to YouTube after the live or when you get a chance. I don't know if you can see this. So the channel name, I'm going to spell it out for you, is BALZER Designs. This channel is by Julie Faithhan Balzer, and she talks about all kinds of stuff, all kinds of tutorials for the scan and cut, and this is what the video looks like. Unless I started the video and then took a screenshot, I think. The name of the video is Scan and Cut Mat Maintenance. So if you search that on YouTube, she shares so many great tips in this video. However, she's also using different products like a low tack mat, and then the little special sheets that you can buy, the low tack sheets that keep your mat clean. I'm a crafter on a budget, so I don't do all the extra mats, the low tack mat and the disposable low tack sheets that you can peel off and throw away. But that might be something that you want to invest in, so she's going to share those tips with you. She'll also show you how she cleans her mat. But yes, in between cuttings, I take baby wipes and get just the majority of the bulk stuff off. Eventually, when it gets to be too much, I run it through the sink. I use just the blue Dawn on it, and that gets most of everything off. Sometimes when your mat is really new, the heat and bond does stick to it, and sometimes it just stays there. Sometimes you can take an X-Acto knife and sort of lift it off and pry it off. They have these little utility knives or plastic. You can sometimes scrape that off, and ultimately your standard regular cutting mat is going to turn into a low tack mat. That's when you get a new mat and designate this mat that you're using as your fabric mat. So yes, she shares lots of great tips in this video. There's also a ton of other videos that people show how they clean their mats as well. So yeah, 5 or 10 minutes on YouTube and you should be good to go. But just to let you know, that's kind of the one qualm about using a cutting machine that has an adhesive mat, is that, yeah, the cleaning of it can be tiresome. Other than that though, Terry, how do you like your scan and cut? I see you're on here. You're on a budget too. Then use this mat up and clean it the best you can. And when it doesn't stick anymore, get a new mat. Tape down your fabric if you have to. It works. Just be careful that when you're running your mat, the tape doesn't roll up inside. I've had that happen. So I've switched over to a clear Scotch tape and that works so much better. Maybe we'll do a live on that on my business page, on Lisa Capen Quilts page one day. That would be a good topic. Anyway, keep us updated on how you clean your mat. I love Julie Faye-Fan Balzer's videos. And she has a ton of them out there. And she not only has like the scan and cut channel, she also does like multimedia projects. She does a lot of jelly plate videos, which I love, and I haven't had time to make, and I wanted to make a video on that like 2 months ago. So yes, check out Julie Faye-Fan Balzer, or Balzer Designs is her scan and cut channel on YouTube. All right, Sally is the one who had a tip. Okay, Lisa, here's a tip for you. Here is a tip for your tips and tricks section. Use the little plastic containers that pencil lead refills come in to hold your needles. They stay closed and you don't have to worry about them falling out, and it's great for traveling. Y'all are geniuses. That's all I have to say about that. You're a genius. Okay, a couple weeks ago, we did the challenge on organizing your space, and one of the things that I wanted to organize were all of the used needles for my sewing machine. I just drop them in my sewing box, and there's like 50 of them in there. And that was one of the things that I was going to organize and clean, and that did not happen. Fabulous. Thank you so much for sending that little tip in. And it's great for sewing needles, like hand sewing needles and traveling. I actually like this better as a case than the little round ones that I have. The needles came in, because that little dial with the little opening is so hard. I can never get the needles to come out where they're supposed to. Thank you for sending that tip in and sharing. That is so smart. All right. We are on our last topic for the evening, and that's from Miss Maureen. And she says, and I hope I did not miss anybody's topics or pictures. I really hope I didn't. I tried to stay on top of it as best I could. Maureen says, Lisa, could you please review where you stop your needle for machine applique in regards to which way you are turning? Thank you very much. Yes, Maureen. Now, okay. First, before I bring up this photo and we start talking, I will say that I have a few videos on my channel that when you have time, you can go check them out, because I go into really detailed at the sewing machine, just like with the binding videos. so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. On my channel, there's one called Satin Stitch Tips. I should have done a screenshot. I didn't think about it at the time, so I could actually show you the video. But yes, I show you about the concave curves and doing points and corners, and I show you right at the sewing machine. That video has like a blue background, I think, and it's got 4 little shapes, and it's like a circle and a box and a crescent, and you should find it on my YouTube channel. It's called Satin Stitch Tips. That's really helpful, but we're also going to talk about it here, and I'm going to just pull up an example of some applique as we talk about this. Okay, so let's see where you stop your needle for machine applique in regards to which way you're turning. Now, if you think about it like this, here's your fabric, okay? It's really easy to think about it like this and just get this like sort of stuck in your head this way. If you're sewing along and you're doing a satin stitch and you need to turn your fabric to the right, when you stop your needle, the satin stitch goes from left to right. If you're rotating your fabric to the right to make a turn, your needle needs to be in the right position, not in the applique, in the background fabric right next to your applique. So if you're turning to the right, stop your machine with the needle in the right position. Lift up your presser foot, rotate your fabric, lower the presser foot, and keep on going. And that's going to keep all your stitches close together. That's going to prevent your skip stitches that kind of look like a V. If you stop in the wrong position and you make a turn and you keep on going, sometimes you'll notice like a little V in your stitches. That's usually what happens if you've stopped on the wrong side. If that happens, if you get a little skip place, stop, hit the reverse and go back over it and fill it in, and then keep on going. So if you've messed up, it's fixable. But catch it early, that way you only have to back up a little bit. Now if you're sewing along and you're doing your satin stitch and the needle's moving left to right, and you need to rotate your quilt to the left to make a turn, then your needle needs to stop in the left position in the applique when you stop, and then rotate your fabric to the left, and then you can keep on going. So if you're turning your fabric left, needle needs to be in the left position. If you're rotating to the right, stop on the right position. I hope that's helpful. If not, watch that video because I show you with the sewing machine exactly what to do. And if not, maybe I could do another live video. I'm looking for topics to go live when I have time to do that. But yes, check out that channel. Also, you know what? I have a ton of other applique videos. Applique with freezer paper, applique with heat and bond light. And all of them, I think I show like close-ups of doing a satin stitch. So you might be able to see from those too. But the satin stitch tips video, I think, will help you a lot if I didn't explain that very well. All right, that is all of our show and tell stuff. That is all of our topics, and I do have a challenge for this week. So let's move over to that screen. I don't know if y'all saw that post I did on my Lisa Capen quilt page the other day of the girl sitting in her car at the Wawa. She was sitting at the Wawa and she was laughing because of what had just happened to her. I don't want to give away the video. If you haven't seen it, you can go check out my page and watch that video. If you need a good laugh, go watch that video. Where was I going with this? Okay, yeah, if you need a good laugh. So, you know, Facebook has this little feature that you can do on your posts called GIFs. GIFs. GIFs, right? You say GIF or GIF. GIF. A GIF. A GIF. Okay, anyway, this week we're going to do GIFs. GIFs. However you want to say that. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm getting ready to show you. Okay? This week, I want you to share a GIF on the Creative Crew group showing how you feel this week or your current status as we approach 2 weeks before Christmas. Yeah, we're 2 weeks before Christmas. I know some of you are super swamped and busy. I know some of you are all done and y'all can just sit back and relax. And some of you are really stressed out. Some of you are extremely tired like me. There's so many funny GIFs that you can share. And you don't really need to say anything to your post. All you have to do is post a GIF and let us try to... The GIF will explain your current status or your mood as we approach this 2 weeks before Christmas. So let me show you. If you don't know what a GIF is or how to post one, I'm going to show you. So if you go really on any page, on your own personal page, you can do this, but I want you to share it here on the Creative Crew group. If you go to our group and scroll up to the top where you would normally make your post, click on Write Something, and this little menu pops up, and you can post a photo or a video, you can check in, you can create a poll. There's all kinds of things you can do, but there's a little purple box that says GIF. 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 If you click on that, a new box pops up. And it'll look just like this. And there's a search box at the top. And you can type in anything you want. Like you could type in happy birthday. And then all these short little, they're like little videos. But they're only like 5 seconds or 10 seconds long. And it just tells a story in like 5 seconds. Like in 5 seconds, you know exactly what they're trying to say. And most of them are funny. So you could type in exhausted and all these GIFs show up. You could type in happy birthday and all these happy birthday GIFs pop up. You could type in funny and then all these funny ones pop up. So however you're feeling as we approach Christmas, 2 weeks away, I want you to type in the search box your current mood, and from that list, it's going to give you a list of like 10 different GIFs that you can choose from. Click on one and post it to our group. And you don't have to say anything. You don't have to have any explanation. Just click on the GIF and post it, and we can just have fun guessing your current mood. Like this was mine for today. Of course, the little GIFs aren't moving because this is a screenshot, but the little baby's so tired, he slams his head on the bed, and the dog just falls over and falls right to sleep. They're short little clip videos, and they're very entertaining. So I thought that would be a fun challenge for this week, and something easy and fun that we could do. And yeah, we're going to stay away from making projects until after Christmas. And these are just fun sharing activities for our group. Is that all the photos? Yes, that's all the photos. So share a GIF, GIF on our Creative Crew group. No explanation, just the GIF. And we're going to have fun guessing your current mood. And hopefully, if you need a laugh, this will bring you a laugh. If you're feeling stressed out, maybe this will lighten up the mood a little bit and bring some joy to your day. So, let's see, it is 9:44. Wow. I knew it was going to take us a while to get through tonight's live. We can go over and chat a little bit if you want. Good night, everybody. Good night, Karen. Good night, Barbara. Kathy says this will be a fun challenge. I think so too. I like the GIFs. Let's see if I can scroll back, if my phone will let me scroll back. Hi, Miss Betty. How are you? I'm not sure if you're still here, but I saw that you came in. I hope you're doing good. Terry says it is a hard G, not a J sound. GIF, not GIF. Mary, I see a sad face. Why are you sad? Barbara said she watched the Wawa video. Didn't you think that was hilarious? I've watched it like 7 times, and every time I cry from laughing with this girl. Connie, yeah, you, me too, Connie. I'm just scrolling back through some of the comments since we're done tonight. How would you applique pictures? Anya, have you seen my quilt labels? The way that I sew together my quilt labels? That's how I would applique a picture, just because I think it's easy. If you haven't seen them, put your picture, leave a little extra, like a 1/4 inch around your picture for a seam allowance. Put your pretty side facing a backing fabric, and it doesn't have to be any kind of special backing fabric, just something scrap. Sew all the way around the perimeter of your picture. Cut a slit on your backing fabric so that you can turn that right side out. Poke out your corners. Press it nice and flat. That gives you a nice finish edge around your picture, and then you can either hand sew that to your quilt. You could use a blanket stitch, a satin stitch, zigzag stitch, any kind of stitch that you wanted to use to sew your pictures down as applique. That's how I would do it. Oh, it's only letting me go up so far. So let's scroll to the bottom. GIF, not GIF. GIF, not GIF. So it was Kathy's first time tonight. I'm so glad you joined us. I loved your coat. Risa has loved the live. I'm so glad you were here. Good night, Linda. Good night, Cheryl. Terry, I'm making you laugh with the GIF thing. Regina, you're welcome. I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm not at my sewing machine, so it's a little bit hard to give a lot of tips on binding, but I think you'll find those videos really helpful. How would you applique a picture? Oh, I think I just answered your question, Anya. If a satin stitch, which number? You're going to need to play with your settings on your machine because all the machines are different, and it depends on what kind of thread you're using. So what I would do is set up your satin stitch and make a little test sample and test your settings out on that first. You might have to make some adjustments and then move over to your picture. I don't like to give a lot of machine settings because my machine settings more than likely are going to be different than yours. So you really need to do some testing and adjusting with some scraps. Then you'll figure out for the thread that you're using the right setting, and then you can move over to your picture. Gloria is feeling stressed. Jerry says, you should make a big bag for Harlan. It's not as hard as it looks. Her videos make it a lot easier. I've been watching the videos. Maybe that's something I'll do in the next couple of months. Where can I find the Wawa video? Faith, if you go, I'm not sure how you might have just come straight to Facebook and the Creative Crew group, but if you search for Lisa Capen Quilts, that's my business page, or like where I share like my tutorials and stuff and my commission stuff that I'm working on. And if you go there and you scroll down, it's pretty close to the top. Really funny video. Hello, Susie. You can come back and watch the replay. Jif is peanut butter. Yes. You are almost the Wawa lady with the GIF. With the GIF. Faith, this is your first time live. I'm so glad you were here. I hope you come back. Good night, Debbie. You have finals tomorrow. We're rooting for you. Keep us updated. This is Belle's first live tonight too. Wow. That's exciting. I'm so glad you're here. Anya says the satin stitch is a zigzag stitch, just shortened, right? Yeah, so my Singer patchwork machine, in order to do a satin stitch, I use the zigzag stitch setting. It doesn't have a stitch specifically for the satin stitch. So it's doing my zigzag stitch, and I just decrease the length, and that brings them really close together and gives me a satin stitch. On my Juki machine, I have a zigzag stitch, and this machine has also a satin stitch. So yeah, it's almost identically the same. The satin stitch on my Juki, the edges seem to be more straight. But yeah, to get a satin stitch on most machines, it's a zigzag stitch with a lower length. And of course, you can adjust your width to make it a wider satin stitch or a thinner satin stitch. Kitty says she is glue basting her binding on her family tree quilt. Yay! Kitty, I hope you share pictures of that. Terry says, I test stitches on scraps before each project because of fabrics, thread, stabilizers for each project. Things change all the time on the settings. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't usually show my settings, is because it changes like every time I do a different project. I'm always using different settings depending on the thread, the needle I'm using. If I'm using stabilizer, the material I'm sewing, it's always changing. So it's one of the things I like to say in the videos is that you should really test it out before you start sewing on your project. This is Donna's first time here live too. Donna, we're so glad you're here. She's working on some Christmas stockings. It's Cheryl's first time live as well. She's always late catching the lives. It is fun to see everyone's progress, right? I think it's always so amazing since we've started doing the lives and showing these projects. We've seen projects come full circle now, from the planning stage to the completed stage. Isn't that awesome? I think that is so great. I love you too, Betty. Betty, I hope you send me a message because you said that you were close by recently. Are you still close by? Somehow I had the impression that you were moving close by. Is that the case? If it is, I'm so excited. It's Beverly's first time here. Faith got done with her presents. Evelyn said, what stitch do you use to put on the satin binding and a baby blanket? I don't work with satin a lot. Does anybody know which stitch that Evelyn should use to put on a satin binding on a baby blanket? I've only used satin one time, and that was a while ago, and to be honest with you, I cannot remember off the top of my head. Betty, you're gonna be in Virginia. You know we gotta have some lunches, some coffees, or some teas, and some hangout time. I can come to you. We can meet somewhere for lunch. I'm excited. All right, everybody. Evelyn, Faith says she would use a blanket stitch. Blanket or zigzag stitch for a satin baby blanket. That's from Sherry. Connie wants to come to our lunch, Betty. Connie, if you are close by, you are welcome to come to our lunch. That would be so much fun. So yeah, as we're closing tonight, if you are traveling or in the area, I think I mentioned this last week or the week before, in February, we're having the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Festival in Hampton, Virginia. You can look that up. For anybody in our group who is going to that, I would love to meet you. We could walk through and look at the quilts together. We could look at all the gadgets and the fun stuff and the fabric. And maybe we could go to lunch. There's a place called Jason's Deli that's right across the street that has an amazing salad bar with raw zucchini on it and lots of different crunchy toppings. And really good chicken salad. So if anyone's interested in that. Oh, and I said I wanted to talk about my planner. Oh, Debbie had ordered stuff. She got a package in with stuff that she ordered. I have a package coming, I think, Thursday of stuff. And so y'all know that I'm a planner. And last year I made my book of everythingness because I use that to plan all my stuff, all my appointments, all my business appointments, doctor stuff, birthdays, to-do list, everything. My whole life planning is in one book, and that's me. That's how I stay organized. I have to have just one planner with everything in it. So I've already had to start planning my stuff for next year, and I've been so busy that I have not had time to make my planner. And so, yeah, I broke down and bought a happy planner. And so that's what I wanted to ask y'all before you go. Who uses a planner? What kind of planner do you use? And do you use the happy planner? And I'll tell you why I went with the happy planner. First, I was so upset that I could not make my own. But for any of you journal people who love to make journals or use journals, and you've seen some of the videos on my channel about the journals, you know I love the traveler's notebook kind of journals with the elastics, because you can put inserts in and take them out. You can change them out. You could have several different kinds of little inserts in there and move them around, take them out so it's easier to write in it and then put it back. I love that. So for my book of everythingness, my planner for last year, I did it a little bit differently, and it was all hand sewn, binded by hand like a traditional textbook. And you could not take the pages out, but everything for a whole year was in that book. And because I didn't have time to make my own, I was searching all these YouTube videos on planners, and I came across the Happy Planner, and I'll tell you why I went with that. You can take the pages out and put them back in. Maybe I'll go live about that tomorrow. I have a little bit of a lighter day tomorrow, and I'll show you my planner setup. So I have a package coming Thursday for some things that will go in my Happy Planner. I also went on Etsy and I purchased a couple of bundles that are designed as planners for small businesses. And so I purchased some of those digital files, and so I have a section in there for my business stuff. And what's really great with the Happy Planners, you can take out sections and move them around and put them back in. So yeah, I did not know about the Happy Planner. So it's not a totally custom made journal like what I like to do, but I did customize it. So maybe we'll go live and show you that tomorrow on my Lisa Capen Quilts page. Jan says, I try to do it with a calendar and it didn't work, and then I don't keep up with it. I have to have lists and I have to plan. And yeah, that's the only way that I really stay on track, is to have these checklists and to stay on it. And every day I'm checking stuff off, because if not, I will forget stuff. And then I always feel like I'm forgetting something if I don't write it down. Faith uses a blank line journaling. I like those too. Evelyn, a Happy Planner is, oh, you're going to have so much fun. Go to YouTube and search in Happy Planner. Really like a calendar that's a planner, that's customizable, that you can move the books around. You can make all these little dividers for it and pockets with your laminator. I made a photo collage page and laminated it. Yeah, we'll go live tomorrow on my page, and I'll show you my Happy Planner and the way that I intend on using it. It went from being this thick when I bought it, and now it's this thick, set up for my next year. We'll show you tomorrow if you can join. If you can't come in, to the live tomorrow, you can catch the replay over on my page. Amy uses the Happy Planner. Yes, you can make it anything you want. I had not discovered the Happy Planner before. Jan says, I make lists for holiday meals or packing luggage. Yes, I pack. My trips are all in my planner. Evelyn's gonna go to YouTube. Yeah, go to YouTube and catch me tomorrow. But yes, I think you'll have fun watching videos on that. Evelyn says she asks Alexa to remind her stuff. You know, my daughter had just sent me some video messages right before we were live. I was like, Bailey, I'm getting ready to go live. I'll talk to you after the live. Her Alexa was doing some weird stuff this evening. It was coming on and she wasn't even asking it questions. And it asked her, what is your name? I told her she needs to unplug Alexa. That's scary. Linda says, I'm not good at writing things down. She hated to take notes in school and she still hates doing it. She puts appointments on the calendar. Yeah, I think you're either a planner or you're not a planner. I've always had to make to-do list or else I lose track. And then I always have this anxious feeling like I'm forgetting to do something or I've forgotten something. And this way I can just write it down and I don't have to think about it anymore. Evelyn says she loves Alexa. I think Bailey did too until this evening. Sally uses her phone for everything. Teresa lost the feed and I think she's back. Chantel does PowerPoint and OneNote. I've heard of OneNote. I've never seen it used before. Carrie says she loves Jason's Deli. I do too. I'm a huge chicken salad fan. Mom uses a Franklin Covey, which is a really nice planner too. I think it's a little bit too small for me. I have lots to write, and my mom's handwriting is a lot smaller than mine. So the Franklin Covey, all of her handwriting is so tiny and neat and exact. So she has plenty of space in that for her stuff. Hello, Deb. Mom says she can't believe she's still up. I can't believe we're still going live. It's 10:07. All right, y'all. It's 10:07. Oh my glory. Okay. It has been a super long day. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad you joined us. If this is your 100th time here, I'm so glad you came back. I love the family here. I love the sharing. I love chatting with you, and I would stay here all night, but we're going live tomorrow to show you my happy planner. If you did not see the video that I posted on YouTube, make sure to check that out. I have a present for you. You could make a shirt just like mine and we could be shirt twinsies. If I missed your comment, please know I did not miss it on purpose. It's really hard to keep track of everything. If you have a question, tag me in it, and that way I see it, although I'm probably getting ready to go to sleep, so I'll see it tomorrow. I'm going to post this video over on YouTube, so it's really easy to find, because as the posts come in on our page, this video will go down, 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 down till it's hard to find. So it's really easy to find it over on YouTube. There's a playlist for all of our lives over there. I've had so much fun chatting with you tonight. Make sure to share your GIFs, your gifts. Have a great night, y'all. Go do the challenge tomorrow. Yeah, post your GIF or your gift or your GIF. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.